first geocache out here. It's in Kentucky. I plan on only probably getting like one geocache in every state, but first one of the trip, and it's on this like outlook of the Mississippi River. And today we're just driving like all through Kentucky, and then we shoot up in West Virginia. So it's off for now. It's really hot though. It smells good. Good morning, everybody. I like how I always wait until I'm like really far from home to start the video. But I'm in Ohio and I've already taken like some footage, but not me explaining my trip. This is the morning of day 3, and the reason I haven't filmed so far is because it has been kind of rough starting this trip out. And by that I just mean like the camping situations as well as the weather. The first day we just drove for like 8 hours or something, and we kind of camped near where like Kentucky and West Virginia and Ohio meet, like somewhere in there. And then that night of camping was absolutely horrible because we didn't get to, we had one camping location in mind. We went there and it was like miles up into the mountains. It was really dark and spooky, and there was like no one else up there, and I was like, you know what, I don't really want to get murdered. So we went and tried to find somewhere else, and we found this lake, and there was just some camping spots there. So we pulled in, and it was dark by the time we got there. We're up here trying to set up a tent in the dark. I sleep in my car, but my friend needs a tent to sleep in. So we're out here trying to do that. We've never put up this tent before. There's no instructions. And then once we finally got that set up, I'm in here trying to set up my stuff, and they're making a fire for the hot dogs for dinner. It's 10 o'clock, we haven't ate dinner. And once we finally like get situated, it is so muggy and hot outside. Like it's still high 70s at this point in time, and it is so humid. And I laid down to go to bed. There's freaking bugs flying everywhere in my car because I'm stupid and I didn't turn my like overhead lights off. So there's bugs everywhere, and I'm like drenched. I mean, my whole face was just wet, and my shirt was wet just from sweat and like it being humid. And that is probably the most disgusting I've ever felt in my life. And that place didn't have showers either. So yesterday, which was day 2, I don't know if it's technically a national park or if it's just like a national river that I don't know, but there is a spot in West Virginia that has I think it's like New River Gorge or something, and it's like this large bridge with the river flowing under it. So that's where we went yesterday. I'm trying to get all the national parks that I can on this trip because there's actually not a lot of national parks on the East Coast, so I'm trying to hit all of those. And so we went to the one in West Virginia yesterday, and it was nice. Like the bridge was really cool to see, but the rest of the park just like takes you like 30 or 40 miles to random towns and stuff like that. So we did go to another viewpoint like 30 minutes south of there, but then we headed up here because today we're going to a national park south of Cleveland. So I wanted to be closer to here. And it just rained like the whole 5-hour drive up here, and it would like stop but it was like 4 different storms, just full-on storms where it's like raining really hard, there's thunder and lightning, and every time we'd get through one, I'm like, thank goodness we're finally done, and then another one, and it was horrible. And we finally got through that, and a wreck on the interstate, and we had to go around, and by the time we got here, guess what? It was dark again. I don't know why. I promised myself after the first day, I was like, we are never getting here at dark again, and that's exactly what we did. But that shouldn't happen tonight. I don't think it's gonna happen. But today we're gonna go to that national park. I really don't know how long that's gonna take. It's kind of weird with these smaller national parks. Like, I don't know how long they take, if it's like 2 hours or the whole day. And then I think we're just gonna head towards Niagara Falls after that. And it's gonna be another rainy day. So I don't know how that's gonna go, trying to see Niagara Falls in the rain. I'm not really sure how today's gonna go, but I'm sure I'll tell you about it later. I'm gonna finish loading up the car and then we'll probably leave soon. Nothing too spectacular. Honestly, not much in this park is too spectacular, to be honest with you. They're also growing corn out in this field, so that's interesting. I think we have like one more stop, and then we are out of here and going towards Niagara. So basically, it's the end of day 4, I think. Yesterday I went to the Cuyahoga National Park in Ohio. It's been rainy every single day, and that park was kind of weird because it's like really small, and there's only like 2 attractions really worth seeing, in my opinion. It's the weirdest national park I've ever been to. These ducks are getting crazy over here. Anyway, so that was kind of weird, but after that we drove to Niagara Falls, which was like 3.5 hours, I want to say, maybe 4. It rained on the way there, and so I was really worried that we might have to wait until today to do the Niagara Falls thing, but it ended up being fine. And once we got to Niagara Falls, it was like partly cloudy and it wasn't raining, so that was nice, and spent like an hour there. But I was really sad because the stores were closed, so I couldn't go in and buy like souvenirs or a magnet or anything, which is what I collect now. And so I just looked for a campground near there, and I kind of wanted to come back in the morning, but at that point our campsite was like an hour away, so it wasn't really worth it. And then today, what did we do today? Oh yeah, we just drove all day. We drove from Niagara Falls area to New Hampshire, so we drove through Vermont as well. I got some geocaches in each state, and yeah, we're just camping at this state park now, and there's a fair happening in town. We might go check that out, but we just came to this beach at the place we're camping, and we'll go the rest of the way to Maine tomorrow, which I think is only like 5 hours or so. But yeah, it was a really nice drive. Like New York, the whole state of New York was not that interesting, but Vermont and New Hampshire have been really nice and like mountainy and stuff. So anyway, that's all for today. I didn't get like a whole lot of footage or pictures because just a lot of driving. But anyway, tomorrow I should be in another national park. So I haven't recorded in like 5 days, and as you can immediately see, it's been rough. My face is freaking, that was a fish, breaking out from, I guess, just camping and like, I don't know. But anyways, we went to, I think the last time I left off, I said that we were going to go to Acadia, which we did, and we had a whole camping thing there, like an issue, because the whole area like around Acadia was completely like sold out, and so I couldn't like reserve anything, and so my only hope was like a walk up, which actually worked out. I think it was called the Bar Harbor Campground, and it was really nice and it was cheap, so it was right next to the national park, like within a mile's drive of it on the island, so that was really cool. And then we did that for the whole evening and like just drove through the national park, and it was the nicest thing that I've seen so far, like on this trip. And then the next day we woke up and hit whatever we didn't get to see the day before, which wasn't a whole lot, but there's a lot of footage that I took of that because, I don't know, it was just really nice, and the weather was nice up there, which I didn't expect, but it has actually been cloudy and rainy every other day except when we were in Maine for Acadia. So we left from there and we went south, obviously, and we went to Salem, Massachusetts, and Boston the next day. Which, the camping in Massachusetts is a whole ordeal because online it says you have to walk up, but once you get there it says like that you can't make like day of reservations, you can't just walk up because of COVID. I don't know how that makes sense, but so we finally drove all the way to this campsite outside of Boston, and they were like, we have spots, but since like the rule with COVID, we can't give it to you. I was like, that's pretty dumb. So we had to get a hotel that night, which kind of, I mean, I expected to at some point. I just figured with all the cities and stuff there would be an issue at some point, or the weather would be really bad. But I didn't expect it at that time, especially when there was a campsite available. But I did take some footage in Boston. Salem, we just went to a witch museum, which was okay. Kind of strange, but that's really all we did there. And then we went to Boston and walked around. We followed the Freedom Trail and ate lunch, and we were gonna go to Cape Cod, but the weather's just been so depressing. Like I didn't even want to go to Cape Cod at that point in time, and we were kind of on a push for time, so we just went and got our campsite. I think we had to go all the way to Connecticut because the camping in Massachusetts and was it New Hampshire were both weird, so I don't know if it was New Hampshire. No, I don't know what state it is. They're all just jumbled up here, you know. They're all an hour long of a state. So anyways, we went to New York finally yesterday, and we parked in Jersey and we took like a ferry over, which was kind of cool because you could see the whole skyline. I've been to New York before, but I've never actually been able to like see the skyline. And we went to Times Square, saw the Empire State Building, and what happened was I was just sitting like out on the street waiting for something, I don't know, and I looked up and this girl like across from me had just a shopping bag, and for some reason I noticed that it said like Death Eaters on it, and I was like, wait, and then I looked closer and it said like Daily Prophet and stuff, and I was like, does that mean there's a Harry Potter store here? And so I googled it and there totally is, and I went there, and because I didn't know that there was a Harry Potter world thing there, and I'm just lucky that I saw that bag because I wouldn't have probably noticed. And you have to like scan a QR code so we did that, but we were in that, it said like 400 people ahead of you, but it was just an hour wait. We like walked around until then, and I was pretty excited about that. and we went to Central Park, but it was still just like gross outside, and I don't know. So we didn't really feel like going back today, even though it's gonna be partly cloudy today and then rainy again, of course. So I don't know, and it's getting kind of exhausting with like the camping and the weather and just always having to plan everything, and I don't know, it's just a lot on me mentally, I think. And so we're just gonna like forget it and go south. And I think today we're gonna go down and end up near DC. I hope, because I reserved a campground near DC, but probably hit Philadelphia on the way down and drive through. I'm hitting every state up here, even if we don't like stop for a long time, because I'm getting geocaches in all the states. So we'll probably end up doing some more stuff in DC tomorrow as well. But after that, we will go towards the mountains and then home. But we still have like a week left, I'd say. This is like the lake beside where we're camping tonight, which is barely in Virginia, I think. But today we kind of drove towards DC. We stopped in Philadelphia shortly, but wasn't a whole lot there for us to do. And then most of the day was just driving, and we had planned to like stop in DC for a bit, but it's already like evening time, and we don't want to try to do everything in like 20 minutes and dark. So we're gonna do a whole day in DC tomorrow, and yeah, and then south after that. But it was very hot today in Philadelphia, and it was partly sunny, so that was exciting. But anyways, we got camp set up. It's very muddy here, so that's a thing. But anyways, it looks nice here. I'm at a campground in Virginia. There's like a little creek and waterfall type deal behind me, and our campsite's like right up that hill. But it is a weird campsite because you can't like, there's two separate areas and they have a lot of cabins and stuff, and so for a lot of the sites you can't like drive to them, so they like want you to put all your stuff in their cart and they'll take you to the site. And obviously like I sleep in my car, so that wasn't gonna happen, and I said I have to have my car wherever I'm going. So, hello Leaf. We had to switch sides so that I could drive my car down here. So that was really cool because it just happened that someone else had moved sides, so it worked out. But anyway, yesterday we went to DC, and I really just think DC is really nice, and we didn't get to do all the things we wanted to do because some of the museums are still closed. The Smithsonian, you have to like book tickets 30 days in advance. But we did get to see the Holocaust Museum because we walked up, and you have to also reserve that one like a day before or something. And as we were walking away, a lady just happened to walk up who had extra tickets, so she let us go in with her. So we spent like a couple hours in there, and it was really cool. But yeah, couldn't get into the Smithsonian, and other than that, we just like walked to all the main points, saw the Lighthouse and everything like that. We tried to also go to Arlington, but the cemetery like closed at 5, and it was 5 when we got there. So didn't get to see everything that we wanted, but it was so hot. The sun was out. We were walking most of it, so at that point we were like, whatever, it's okay. We went and got a campsite, and then yesterday I guess that was 2 days ago. Yeah. Yesterday we did the Shenandoah National Park, which is really just one long strip of driving and a bunch of pull-offs, which is my like ideal national park because I'm lazy. I like hiking now and again if I know like what I'm gonna go see, and also when it's not hot. But I didn't really understand what was going on there, so it was just a bunch of pull-offs. Got a lot of pictures, and then now we're like 3 hours through the Blue Ridge Parkway, and we've just got this wonderful campsite here. And I think we still have a lot to go on the Ridgeway, because it's supposed to take like, or the Parkway I mean, I think it's supposed to take like 9.5 hours if you're just like driving through, and we've only done like 3 of it, so I think all day we'll probably be finishing that. And then we probably only have 2 days left of the trip, so I mean that might change, but I think one more day and then driving home, so. So I'm home now, and the last day of that trip was the Smoky Mountain National Park, and it was really short, like shorter than we expected it to be. Like we accidentally drove through it, and we had to turn around and go back and see some stuff. It was probably the smallest national park that I've been to. Well, yeah, I mean, it's just really quick and not a whole lot of stops. But the weather was kind of iffy as well, and so we just kind of went through Gatlinburg, didn't really stop. It looks pretty accurate to what everyone says, that it's like another Branson. And then we came home the next day, so it was a good trip. There was just so much within however long we were gone, 2 weeks or something. And I think it would have been a lot better had it not rained, and it wouldn't have been a huge deal except we were camping. So that kind of was a lot to deal with, constant like raining, and even once you're there at a site, like no one wants to sightsee in rain, you know. But I guess I'm glad that I went because it's stuff that I wanted to see. And I've been pretty much everywhere else in the US. I just needed to see more of the East Coast. And I'll probably go back there. Maybe this winter for New Year's. I'm not completely sure yet. It kind of depends on COVID stuff. But yeah, that was pretty much the East Coast trip. And I will be posting another video very soon because I am actually filming this after another trip that I've already done. So thank you for watching, and there'll be another one soon. So see ya!